Very interesting here, Najib. And also, just out of curiosity, what are the type of deployments that you all do? Is it through CICD, or is it the manual deployment, or is it a more, I guess, automated flow you have? How does that work?
Yeah, that's one specific thing I can't go too in depth about, but
Figured.
it is definitely it is of course automated and mostly the CI/CD. We don't use even for the legacy applications, the super old applications, right? We don't use Jenkins. The only CI/CD tool platform we use is through GitLab CI/CD Git. That's why I do want to mention we do learn GitLab in the course, and we do learn Git. Learning, just like how you mentioned, Inshura, learning AWS is going to be very beneficial for you. Learning GitLab and Git and all that, anything regarding to Git, maybe even GitHub a little bit, is going to be super, super beneficial because like 80-90% of the job revolves around GitLab. That's where, obviously all of our projects are stored. That's where we can see for like DevOps where we configure the YAML files, stuff like that. So learning Git and GitLab is going to be very, very essential. No matter if you're a DevOps, software engineer, QA, PO, learning the Git is very, very important. But it is, yeah, it's an automated deployment.
Awesome. That is another good, I guess, tool you bring up. Other than AWS, I would also suggest to very heavily understand Git and how that works. Those two are kind of like the core of the work you do. And that is also how people can tell just how good of an engineer you are. They're not really going to worry about how well you know the highly coveted tools or the latest tools. Those are things people are always learning, but you are being judged on how well you know your basics. And the teams and your bosses, they understand just how experienced and just how skilled you are based on how familiar and effective you are with the basics, like the AWS, the Git, and those things. So that's another good point you bring up.
So that is the reason why the many companies are moving to the SaaS-based, all these managed tools. This Jenkins are not managed by anybody else. Jenkins is you are managing, you install it, you download it, and you create the Jenkins cluster. You have a primary, you have a tens of server, they're all the secondary node, and you actually configure your deployment, right? Where your deployment goes. On the other hand, of course, this is great, right? Free. But the free, it doesn't mean the free. You have to create the whole infra, right, for your deployment. Can be 50 server. If you have a company has a 300 application is deploying daily basis, you need to create the cluster for the Jenkins. And it's okay. But the problem is this is not the paid tools. When the patch is outdated, when the plugin is coming, and all this, the configuration, it is super like the confusing and complex. And the problem is your DevOps engineer more focusing on the maintaining this tool, and then we don't like it anymore. So what he said, well, now why not go with the SaaS-based solution? So if you're thinking the AWS is your infra, like the virtual data center, and you can think GitLab is the deployment tools, basically. So you don't need to manage anything else. Under the hood, everything is managed. All you just deploy through this, it will take care of everything else. So having the Jenkins experience is extremely important because that's where you learn all the challenges. And then you start using this kind of automated tools because GitLab is automated, GitLab, GitHub, and all the managed deployment tools, they're all automated. Means you have a very less chance to learn nitty-gritty details. You want to learn all the challenges, it is Jenkins. And that's the reason you need to focus on both. You need to focus on the manual, what do you do? And then you will be seeing the extremely benefited values from the automation solution, like the GitLab, GitHub, and all the cloud-based solution, Bitbucket. And of course, every cloud provider has their own deployment solutions.